Hey there, my name is Rita and I'm Talent Acquisition Specialist here at Gray, Gray. And today I'm super excited to have with me Kelly Berardi. Kelly is our tax partner, department chair, and attorney. And one of the reasons I'm excited to talk to her today is being that it's March and we have International Women's Day coming up and it's Women's History Month, I thought it would be really fitting to have Kelly say a few words about her journey at Gray, Gray. So Kelly, I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I guess we'll just get right into it and maybe talking about your career path. You're an attorney, you're an accountant. I know that you worked at the Big Four, and then your journey kind of changed a bit and you came to Gray. So how did that all evolve?
So I went to Northeastern undergrad, and I was an intern. I was in accounting and finance, double major, and I'd interned at Deloitte pretty much the entire time I was at Northeastern, which was great, and then joined them full time. I'll never forget my first kind of full-time permanent review with the managing partner of the Boston office. And so I went to him and I said, why is it that they make more money? He was an attorney as well. The majority of the partners at Deloitte were at the time, and he said, well, if you want to make more money and you want to be treated like the law students and the attorneys, then you need to go to law school. And so it was good. It was sort of like tough love, and that's what I did. And so I went at night and worked full time during the day, and that's really how it happened. And so rather than get an MST, I chose to get my law degree because frankly I'd done so much accounting and finance in undergrad that I was ready for something different. I'd always been interested in the law. I had actually started Northeastern off as a criminal justice major, and had decided to switch to accounting and finance because, again, I'd taken accounting classes in high school and really enjoyed it, it came easy to me. So that's how I ended up doing that, and the internships were a lot better in the business school. So, background, I'd always kind of thought about, law school, and so that was sort of how my journey started with law school.
And then how did you wind up finding your way to Gray?
Yeah, so again, it was interesting because, Deloitte was fantastic. I mean, we had so much fun, but ultimately it's a grind. I mean, it was 80 hours a week, and I'm not overstating that in any way, right? So, as you start to get older, I was in a relationship. I had, been with this person for a long time, and we knew we were going to settle down and have kids. I was in law school. I got pregnant while I was in law school. We were married, and I knew I couldn't handle that with a new baby and commuting into the city. We were living in the Canton area at the time, and so I decided it was time to transition to a smaller firm where I could still become partner and work on sort of the same mix of clients. And so I engaged with a recruiter and started looking at a variety of sort of different jobs. I had left as well and gone into private for a bit.
Okay.
Not something I was interested in, and totally different. So I knew that public accounting was kind of where I wanted to be.
And so now here you are, a partner, and you have a seat at the table, making decisions, having a voice. And I guess, you are the only female partner at the firm too. Like, how important is that to you?
Well, it's really important, right? And I think it's important to everybody at the firm, including the men at the firm.
Right.
And I think the reason why I have a voice and the reason why I have a seat at the table is because of people like Joe Ciccarello and Rich Hershen and Jim DeLeo that were real advocates for me, right? I had the opportunity to work with them very closely, and even Neil Krug, he was managing partner when I started at Gray. And I made it very clear when I came in that was eventually my goal, and that's where I wanted to end up. They really saw something in me, and they helped me, and I appreciate that. So they're the ones that really got me the seat at the table, and I think that's really important for women, is finding people that will help you, advance in your career. You can't do it alone. You've got to do it with support.
I love some of the stories that you've shared about being supported and what that looked like. You're a mom. You have three kids, you have a husband, you have a job, and then trying to grow with the firm. And so tell us a little bit about how Gray supported you during that journey.
Yeah, so there's been, what's crazy about working and having kids is that your life doesn't stop, right? So your career ebbs and flows just in terms of things that you're doing at work, and at home, you have a more important job, and that's your family, right? Family is number one. I mean, they're my life, right? And so figuring out how to fit that in with work, it changes on a daily basis, because when the kids are babies and they get sick, you can't come to work, right? And so
Right.
you've got to be supported in that environment, and you have to be part of a firm or an organization that appreciates and understands that. And Gray has done that for me. I think for women coming up now, or even men coming up that need to be at home more, I think COVID helped us tremendously.
Absolutely.
Because the whole working from home thing isn't a big deal anymore, right?
Right.
Like,
It's changed the dynamic of the
and it's
office
all
environment.
about, like, you're a professional, get your work done, and
Trust.
we don't care where you do it. You just got to do it. My parents took care of my kids, and so my dad was the primary caregiver for them, and then he had a stroke, and I really was in a bind. So I had 2 kids, and I knew that daycare wasn't going to work for us. So I felt like I needed to quit. And so I'd come in, and I was really upset, and I gave Joe Ciccarello my letter of resignation. And again, because your life ebbs and flows, right? And things happen, and you're so overwhelmed.
Think you have no options.
Yeah, you think you have no option. And Joe was so good about saying, like, okay, we've got to figure something out here. We've got to make this work. Jim DeLeo and all these other partners came into my office to speak to me, and that when you look back on that, that's just amazing.
Like a changing moment.
Like
that
they
you were
really,
supported.
they knew that I was like down and out, and they helped me. And you treat people the way that people have treated you, and
That's our mantra, right?
Yeah, and you really learn from that. And so it's really been amazing when you think about what's happened here for me.
That's good. I love to hear the story, and I think going back to Women's History Month, the firm is over 50% women, which is so exciting to see those statistics. And I think I see you as a role model. I know that, and just thinking about all you've accomplished, not only being a partner, an attorney, department chair, but a mom too. And it's very encouraging. And I think, do you see yourself as a role model to the young staff, and what does that look like?
I don't, because I'm sort of self-deprecating in that way, but I feel like if I could do it, anyone can do it, right? And so I want staff and the women of the firm to be able to come to me, and I will be so honest with them about what they're going through and how they're feeling, and I can help them. And I know that if I could do it, they could do it.
One more question that I wanted to ask you is, if you could change anything or tell your younger self something, what would that be?
I wish I had taken the time to, go to the gym or spend more time with friends and family, and not be so like narrow and focused on like job and kids. Like, there's time for yourself too.
There is, right?
Yeah.
And I think as we get older,
we realize
we realize that we should really be carving a little niche out for ourselves. But
it's so important for your mental health.
Absolutely.
And I look back now, and I wish I had like traveled more, before the kids, and I had taken the time to do that, because your work will always get done. And so I wish I had done things like that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I thank you so much for talking to me today, Kelly. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank
I think,
you.
Any, women joining the firm, I'd, like them to know and see this video that, you can be anything you want to be.
Absolutely.
You got to put the time in, but you also have to be at a firm that embraces, your individuality, and supports your success every step of the way.
Agree.
So, thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.